welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the last few weeks. I'm going to adjust my light here a little bit, maybe. Let's see. I think it's maybe for like the last month. I did get a large variety of books. I was going to say I was better prepared than last time, and I am. I know what all the review books are about this time, but I forgot to do the overall count. So I did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books for review. I bought 1 book, so it's 8. I did get 3 for gifts, which brings me to 11. And then I did get 3 audiobooks, so 14, and then 3 from the library, so 17 books to go over total. So I'll go ahead and get to them. I'm going to go ahead and start with the books I got for gifts, just because they're on my lap and they're kind of heavy. Oh, and the one that I bought. The first one is the one that I bought, which had 8 Layer Volume 12 by Kamomi Shirahama. And, you know, this is a fantasy manga series with beautiful artwork in it, and I've been enjoying it. I actually just read this last night. It was very good. It finally gets a little bit more action-packed in this volume, so very much excited about that. Yeah, so I bought that one. I did get 3 for Mother's Day presents. The first one of those is Crumbs by Danny Sterling. This is supposed to be kind of a fantasy romance type of thing, I think. Anyways, very cartoony type of style. I have not read this yet. I do plan on reading it soon, and I apologize. I'm just gonna like move stuff over here so that we're a little bit whatever. All right, and then the other one I got for Mother's Day is another graphic novel, The Strange Tale of Panorama Island by Suhiro Maruo. Again, kind of more of a manga style, but in a larger format. And this is it's supposed to be about a strange island that mysterious things happen on, as far as I know. And then the last one I got is still in its wrapper, so I've not read this yet either, and that is 8 Billion Genies by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. Everywhere, at precisely the same moment, everyone on Earth gets a genie in one wish. So I just thought this sounded really good. It's getting good reviews, and I thought it would be fun to have. I'm still unhappy with how things are set up here, but okay, I'll stop messing. Just gonna have to see all the weird reflections in the pictures behind me. All right, okay, so those are the ones that I bought and got for gifts. Then I did get those 7 for review. The first one I got for review is The Vanishing Station by Anna Ellickson. A lot of these I can give mini reviews on. I didn't like this book at all. I thought I was gonna like it. It's kind of an urban fantasy about a family who travels, like trains are magical portals across the world, and there's a family in San Francisco that has the ability to like use these trains as portals. It's about a girl whose father is involved with this family, and so she ends up starting to travel through these train portals. I had a couple big issues with this book right off. I ended up not finishing it. I read the first 30%, I think, and then stopped. First of all, the girl's father is an alcoholic and fairly abusive to her, and everybody is constantly making excuses for him, including her and people around her, and I really didn't like that. And secondly, it was very, very slow. At 30% of the way in, not a lot had happened. I may have even read a little further in than that, but I didn't like it, and I decided to just set it aside. It was actually actively irritating me and making me kind of angry, mostly because of the abusive situation with the girl and her father and how that was being treated. And so I just moved on to other things. The second book I got for review was another audiobook from NetGalley, and that is Godfall by Van Jensen. This one I ended up liking pretty well. It wasn't as much science fiction as I thought it was going to be. It's about a celestial, like huge godlike object that falls into rural Nebraska. And most of the story is told from the small town sheriff's point of view, because it fell near the small town in Nebraska, and about how that town is changing because of this celestial, huge, gigantic, weird object that is now right outside the town. The story actually revolves more around I'm trying to say, a series of murders that are happening in that town that remain unsolved. And because he's a small town sheriff, a lot of these murders are being sent to the state police or the FBI, but he ends up getting involved as well. So it ended up being more of kind of like a serial killer thriller mystery type of story rather than a science fiction story, but there are some light science fiction elements to it. So I actually liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was really well narrated and it was fun to listen to. All right, the third one I got for review I have not read yet, and that is American Rapture by C.J. Lead. This actually doesn't come out until October, so I have it pretty early. This is an apocalyptic novel about a virus that infects people with feral lust, is how I describe it. And the story follows a girl named Sophie who, I think she's like a young adult teenager. She's a pretty sheltered Catholic girl who is kind of being thrust into this crazy world. It sounds like it's maybe a little bit gore fest / horror. It just sounded kind of good, so hopefully I like it. The fourth one I got for review is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. This comes out pretty soon. It comes out in August. This is about Cordelia, the daughter of a sorceress, and things that happen with her. And that's pretty much all I know about, but I read almost everything that comes out from T. Kingfisher. So it is fantasy. It is not, she kind of writes some horror and she writes some fantasy. This is more on the fantasy side of things. All right, the fifth one I got for review is Candle and Crow, the third book in the Ink and Sigil series by Kevin Hearn. This does not come out until October as well. This series, the third book in it has been a long time coming. This is set in the Iron Druid Chronicles world, but it follows Almec Barris, I think I said the name right, who is a Ink and Sigil mage, and this is the third book in that series. I think I said that, but it is urban fantasy. Very humorous, really been enjoying. I actually think I like the Ink and Sigil series better than the Iron Druid Chronicles. So I've really been enjoying these and I was eagerly awaiting the third book. So I'm happy that it finally came out. All right, the sixth book I got for review is The City in Glass by Nimvo. This also comes out in October, so quite a bit of time. This is about, it sounds like it's about a demon named Ezreal who really loves the city and has been like helping to rule the city, but then angels come and kind of destroy the city, and she ends up forming an unlikely relationship with one of these angels to try and rebuild it. That's what I think it sounded like about from the synopsis, but the synopsis is a little bit vague, so I'm just eager to read it. I really like The Singing Hills Cycle by Ningvo, and I'm excited to see what else she comes up with. All right, and then the last book I got from review is Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris. This also comes out in October. Apparently I have a lot of review books that come out in October. This follows a woman named Samantha Harker, who's the daughter of Dracula's killer. She's trying to solve murder cases in turn of the century Paris. She has some strange abilities that would be frowned upon if they were known about. I think the synopsis said she would be thrown in an asylum if people knew that she had these abilities, but she's trying to use these to solve these cases. So it kind of sounds like a historical fantasy, paranormal mystery type of book, and I thought it sounded really interesting, so hopefully I will enjoy it. I will mention this one because it is a review book, but I actually have it under audiobooks because it's an audiobook I got for review, and that is The Arsenic Eater's Wife by Tonya Mitchell. This comes out later in June, so it'll be out in a couple weeks here. It's a historical fiction novel inspired by a true historical event where this woman was blamed for poisoning her husband with arsenic, but there was a bigger mystery and story behind that. So I look forward to reading that. All right, so since I'm talking about audiobooks, the other two audiobooks I borrowed from the library. The first one is When We Cease to Understand the World by Benjamin Labatut. I think that's how you say that. This was a little bit different than what I expected. I thought this was a historical book about different scientists and their discoveries. It ends up it's a historical fiction about different scientists and their discoveries, which I'm not a huge fan of things that portray themselves as historical fact, but then you find out later the historical fiction, especially like in the case of this book, they didn't really explain what was fact and fiction ever. Like usually you have an afterword and say, oh, these are the events that were real and this is what I elaborated on. I think my other problem with this is there was a lot of like weird violence and sexual stuff and gore that's added in that seems like it's added in just to be sensational, just to, I don't know, make these scientists' findings and lives more dramatic or something. And I'm also not a huge fan of like, I don't know, doing things solely to make them more sensational. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. I do think it's interesting to learn about, they talk about Prussian blue and like a lot of the themes are like scientific discoveries that end up really harming humanity or in a few cases also helping humanity, but there was much more emphasis on things that harm humanity and kind of how if science is used wrong and gets out of control, it can harm people. I'm also a little bit, I mean, like, yeah, but that's kind of true of everything, right? You can have good people and bad people, and they can do good and bad things with what they know. Anyways, I'll stop harping about that and move on. The second audiobook I borrowed from the library that I'm reading right now is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaghy. I'm actually liking this quite a bit. It's about a young woman who is releasing wolves back into the wilds of Scotland. And it goes back and forth from her past to her present. She has a twin sister in the present that obviously has some issues. She's not functioning very well anymore. And we're going back into the past to kind of find out why that happened. Yeah, so there are some themes of like domestic abuse in here as well, but also living as a survivalist and a naturalist and kind of the whole effect of humanity on the environment. So a lot of interesting themes I'll put together, and it's been really well written and I really enjoyed the narration for it. All right, then that leaves 3 books, and I did get these all from the library. The first one I got from the library is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is one I had wanted for a while. I don't do a lot of self-help books, but I am pretty into like life efficiency and developing good habits. And so I did really enjoy this. I did end up giving Atomic Habits 5 stars. If you're at all interested in these kind of things, it's a lot of discussion on how to support good habits in your life and how to develop better habits and get rid of habits that are bad. And a lot of interesting, I wouldn't say any of it's rocket science. It's all pretty logical and it's explained very simply. It's very entertaining because he uses a lot of examples from history that kind of illustrate these different chapters about, you know, progressing and forming good habits. So I'd recommend it. It was a very easy read. It didn't take me long to read it all. I found it very entertaining, but I did like some of the thought in there. Like, you know, for example, you don't want to say like, I want to be a person who is active. You want to say, I am a person who is active. You know, you want to start describing yourself as what you want to be, you know, those kind of things. And also just some of the methodology between tracking your habits and altering small things in your life to make good habits easier on you. Humans are creatures of, they like to do things easy. They're usually going to take the path of least resistance. And so it was kind of about how to incorporate that human trait into your everyday life to develop habits. All right, I probably talked about too much about that as well. All right, the second book from the library I got is The Brides of High Hill, which is the 5th book in the Singing Hills cycle by Nina Vo. I love this. I thought it was great. I've loved all of the Singing Hills cycle. I love that they're stories about a cleric who collects stories and then uses those stories to kind of document history. This one had some fun twists and turns in it that I was not expecting, and I really ended up enjoying it a lot. The third book I got from the library I am currently reading, and that is A Nobleman's Guide to Seducing a Scoundrel, which is the second book in the Doomsday Files by K.J. Charles. This is a historical, I guess just fiction, there's not really any fancy in it. Historical fiction romance. It does feature a male-male couple, just like the first book in the series does. I actually am not liking this one as much as the first one. The first one had a little bit more of a mystery and some action and excitement with the smuggling group that was involved in that. This one starts really slow, and it finally kind of does get into some of the mystery that ties it into the first book, but not until well into the second half of the book. I've just like, I think I'm 80% of the way through the book, and it's good. I've been enjoying it. It's cute. It's nice. It's kind of cozy. But it also doesn't have like that mystery and the action and all that stuff that the first book did. So we'll have to see. I'm not sure if this is the final book in the series, if there's going to be another one, but we'll have to see on that. So those are all the books that I got over the last month or so. What else to say? I mean, I can give a quick life update. Not a lot has changed. We are still doing a lot of work on our house in Duluth, so it's been hard for me to do these kind of videos and posts. I mean, if you the schedule we're keeping, a lot of times we're going up Thursday night. We are working remotely from the house in Duluth on Friday. We're doing work on the house Thursday, Friday night, and Saturday, and then coming back Saturday afternoon, and then doing our housework we need to do here, and Sunday doing groceries, laundry, all that stuff, and then going to work Monday morning, and then doing that all over again. So it has been a bit exhausting. We have had some more stuff done. We did get the mini split air conditioner units put in, and they didn't work, and then they came and fixed them, and they still didn't work, and we think they are working now, which is good. We did decide to go ahead with our attic renovation, so we did sign the contract with the contractor for that, which made us a little bit nervous because it's pretty expensive renovation, and it is dealing with the roof of the house. We have an attic that we're trying to expand out like this, so put a dormer on so that you get that extra 6 feet of usable space up there, which will make it a nice area for like a master suite. But in order to get that whole renovation, which was going to be incredibly expensive, into our budget, we offered to do all the demo work so that they can do all the construction of the dormer and the roof and the siding and all that. And then we're going to do all the finishing work as well. So we're kind of in a holding pattern on that. We signed the contract last week, paid them last week, and we're waiting to hear back from them on the design process. So this is going to be a process, a 4 to 6 month process, I think, to have them do this. It'd be nice if it was quicker, but I doubt it will be. And I'm still absolutely flabbergasted at how expensive it is to do this type of construction work. And we did get multiple quotes. This one was comparable to one other one and a lot cheaper than another one. But this construction company was willing to work with us on like letting us do some of the work and them doing some of the work. So I'm nervous about it. It's a lot of money. It's going to be a lot of time. I think it's going to be very frantic to get things done, but I hope it goes well. So there might be a little bit of drama around that. My son is in his last week of his junior year of high school, and we're trying to get him to get a job over the summer, so he's working on that. Other than that, nothing too exciting going on. Just trying to get through every week at this point, and looking forward to maybe a year out from now when we don't have quite as much going on. We have really been enjoying our time up in Duluth. Love being able to hike to a waterfall from our house. There's a number of wonderful hikes, like being able to walk to restaurants and a grocery store. It's very much more that kind of urban lifestyle, but in a place that's maybe a little bit more, I don't want to say friendly than like Minneapolis, but definitely like our neighbors are very kind people on all sides. They're helping us out. They're excited for us to get this house in shape, so they're pulling in our trash cans and just generally watching out for the house while we're not there, because we're probably here in the Twin Cities 2/3 of the time and up there 1/3 of the time right now. So I'm really liking the neighborhood we purchased the house in, and the neighbors and the feel to it. It's quiet, but again, we have that kind of urban bikeability, walkability, beautiful view of the lake and all that kind of stuff. So I think it was a good decision, but I constantly have to reaffirm that with myself, because it was a big decision, and it is a lot of money that we are having to put in to like get this to the point where we're really comfortable eventually moving in there full time. So all right, that's all I have to say. It's probably way too much. This is getting way too long. I hope that you guys got a lot of great books in last month that you liked. And please comment down below if you had some great books that you want to talk about or want to let me know about. With that, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you have a wonderful month of reading. There will not be a best books of May after this post, because I just didn't really read a lot of books in May that I liked. And that's a little depressing. I went back and looked. I had a couple I really liked, but for the most part, it was very light in books that I liked. I read quite a few books I didn't like, but June is already looking to be much better. There's been quite a few more books I've read that I really, really enjoyed. So I will probably do a combined best books of May and June, just because I don't have much to talk about for me. So, all right, with that, hope you have a great week reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.